Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of Photo Club. I was so proud of all the photos that were sent in last week. It's amazing the work that you did. Congratulations to everyone for performing, getting out there and just getting it done. It is tricky business just picking up the camera and deciding to take photos because, you can just sit on the couch. So getting out there and just taking photos, give yourselves a round of applause. I'm just gonna wait while you clap, okay? Okay, great job. So let's get to it. Let's look through the photos and I'll give you a little comments here and there. So let's get to it. What do we have here first? Photo Club. Artie, wonderful photo. I love how low you got. Now in this photo, you got so low that your foreground, that means, the part that's closest to the bottom of the photo is out of focus. That's because the camera was focusing on your Lego girls, and it's wonderful. I love that. It's out of focus and then creeps into focus and then goes out of focus again. That's fantastic. And what else I loved about this photo was the lens flare. The light getting in there, sneaking in, and refracting, and it's beautiful. Great job. And I think this is your first photo that you've ever submitted to Photo Club, so congratulations. Job well done. Number 2, Alexis, great job. I am going to say that the title of this is Barbie Going Out. She is on her way out the door. I love that you got down low. Again, you can see how low you got to the ground because the ground is your foreground. It's like at the beginning, at the bottom of that photo. There's some other elements in this I love. The fact that there are lines drawn. I mean, you're drawing your eye to Barbie as she's stepping out. Great job. Next time, let's get your subject closer to the camera or her face, but fantastic. First time Photo Club submission. Well done. Next is Avery with, I believe this is bath time or pool time with the dogs. Fantastic. Everybody lined up. You can see what they're actually doing. They're all going for a swim. Everybody's waiting their turn. Same with Alexis. Next time, maybe get down a little lower and get your subjects a little closer. As soon as you get down low, I'm telling you, they'll be really close. Fantastic, Avery. I love it. Number 3, Kala. I love it. I don't know what's going on here, but everybody looks terrified. And so it has lots of expression. You're in the snow. It's great. Everybody looks like they're part of this scene. And maybe next time, don't cut off the dude at the top. His head is chopped off. I believe we talked about that last year, but that's okay. This year we haven't talked about it. But great job. Here we go. Carly, I love this photo. I love it because it is so kind of artistic. There isn't a task being performed in this photo. It is blurry because part of it is so close the camera can't focus on, but other parts are in focus, and it has such a dreamy quality. I just love it. Great job. Harper, I love this. What's going on with that eagle? Were you holding him up? Like he is swooping right in there. It's fabulous. You got really low. There's a full scene going on. I'm going to assume some people are at a campfire and they're roasting some stuff, but that eagle, I love it. I love everything. You did a fantastic first time submission. Well done. Nice and low, and that's what I wanted to see. Good job. Okay, on to the next photo. Kayla, I loved your rubber ducky. It is so great that above the water is one color, below the water is another color, and then you got the reflection. We could do so much with this. This is definitely going to be in your top 3 photos at the end of this club season. Fantastic. Good job. You got so many elements in there. It's great. Maven, Oh, this is great too. You got down so low. You've got your Lego people on the road. You're outside and you nailed it for your first shot. Good job. Evelina, I love it. I love that everybody, well, most people got outside for this. And we really need the natural light when we take photos. And Evelina, the fact that you're there, we can see the background. It's kind of blurred because it's so far away, so your camera's not focusing on that. You got your girls lined up there. They're just having a lovely moment in the sun. I loved it. You're good and low. Good job. Grayson, your photo is spot on. I loved how everything is pretty much in khakis, browns, and greens. He matches, I mean, he's completely camouflaged. He is great. You did a great job. Maybe next time, just pull back a little bit so we can get his hand in it. But that's okay. You did a great job. Olivia, you are such a fan of the backlit photos. And I think you did a fabulous job with this. It's so dreamy, and the shapes of the book, it is a great concept. I love the horse in there. I really wish I knew the name of the book. It's okay that I don't. I have this in my imagination. It is Black Beauty or something, but we can't see the words, so it doesn't matter. But I think you did another fantastic job. We're going to talk about backlighting a little bit later in the photo club, but for now, wonderful job. Anna, you process this, and I love it. I love it. It's all grays and blacks and whites, and that the caps on the waves and the dolphin looking like he's jumping through it. It's wonderful. I love it. I wish you had sent me the original copy before you had edited it into black and white. So please get that to me, because sometimes what you are working with for your editing suite is different than what I'm working with. And what we can do in Photoshop is a lot different than what you can do on your phone. So send me the original. Maybe this will be one of your top 3 at the end of Photo Club. And you know, usually I do a little Photoshop with you. Then we can really drive home some details in this. Great work though. I love it. Who do we have now? Oh, Parker's mom. Life is better in Canada. Isn't it though? Even though we're all indoors, life is better in Canada. Your little guy is up there now. I don't know what he's doing on top of there. Maybe he is the painter and he's just finished painting. But it's great. There's so much red there. Next time, let's have him down low, like maybe giving a thumbs up or something. He's right close to the camera. So our subject is a little bit more predominant. But great job, Parker's mom. Here we have Natalia with her dog. I believe it is a lab. It's lovely. You got down nice and low. Next time, let's get his face a little closer to the camera. So that is what we're focusing on. You did a great job. It's your first time ever submitting to Photo Club. Good work. And Parker, well, I think this is really point on with what's going on. I believe that it is a giraffe washing his hands, because that's what we should all be doing, not just giraffes. So you got down low. They're close to the camera. There's a story happening, and you know what? It is really about what's going on now. So I love this photo. First time submitting to Photo Club, and I think you did a really great job. You should be proud of yourself. And we have Max, and it looks like it's Peely, if anybody knows Peely. He's out in the field and he's climbed up to the top of a cornstalk to take a good look around. It's a fantastic example of getting outside and having your character doing something in the photo. So Max, great job. And we have Noah's mom, and it is a dragon reading a book. She got down nice and low. Something is happening, so you can see the dragon reading a book, and I'm going to assume that this book is about a dragon. let's hope that he wins in the end. But this is great. She got down low. There's a story happening. I love it. Good job. And this is Noah. And I believe it is a sloth and a turtle. And they're playing a video game. It probably is the longest video game in the world because these two guys are the slowest players. So you got down low. Next time, get down. Like, I want you on your belly. I want you down low. Great job. I love the story that's happening here. And it's your first time submitting to Photo Club, so you should be so proud of producing this. Good job. Sammy, I see this as a doggy out in a field looking for something to eat, or maybe he's eaten everything, or maybe it's a game of fetch. But she got down nice and low. I love all the textures and the shadows in the background. Her first time submitting to Photo Club. Great job. Miss Chant, look at your picture. Good job getting everything lined up there. You had a vision, you followed through with it, you got down nice and low, and there's the little baby trying to catch up with everything else. Next time, get right down on your belly, like on your belly. When I say on your belly, I mean you're on your belly. But great work. Such an improvement, really. And here's mine, everyone. This is called Bear Reads a Book. I think this is probably a nighttime story where he just sits around and reads about bears attacking people. So that's what we have it. So we had so many photos this week, and honest to goodness, everybody did such a great job. Like I said, sometimes it's difficult. Just to take a photo, a lot of people will start to overthink it and not realizing that all you got to do is press the button and then keep moving. Now, every week I'll do two different kind of segments. One will be called the photo of the week, where I pick one that I think really knocked it out of the park. They watched the week before's lesson, and they really kept that in mind when they were taking a photo. They've really made a great effort, and it really shows. So we'll do a photo of the week every week, and we will call another one called For the Love of Photoshop. For the Love of Photoshop, where I will take somebody's photo and I will Photoshop it. Now, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just going to make it better. Like, maybe adding a little bit more light, or, maybe just like erasing something that is distracting in the photo. So let's get to it. This week's first photo of the week goes to Artie. Artie, I just loved your photo. I loved everything about it. I loved the light in it. I loved how the photo was nice and low, what was in focus and what wasn't in focus. It was fantastic. So everybody, round of applause for Artie, because she made it to photo of the week. And now for the love of Photoshop. For this one, I picked Olivia's photo. Like I said, Olivia, I know her, and she loves backlit photos. That means the light is behind the subject instead of lighting the subject. So it can really give you some nice moods. But sometimes if you're using a camera on your phone, it doesn't have the right kind of optics inside to really pull out, they call it HDR, right? It doesn't pull out the lights in a dark situation, or the darks in a light situation. So I just added a little bit of Photoshop. I did a little cropping, and you'll see here that I did a little bit more lighting on the book, so you can see that's exactly what is framing the subject. So let's take a look at the before, and let's take a look at Olivia's picture after I worked it in Photoshop. So here's the before and after together. You can see the difference, right? I cropped out a lot of the bottom, got in a little closer to the subject, and then I was able to lift The midtones. The midtones are, you know, kind of the shadows. They're not the darks, they're not the lights. They're right in the middle. And I lifted them so you can see that it is a book that is framing the pony. And I think really, I hope that's what Olivia had in her mind's eye when she was taking that picture. And hopefully you like what I did. If not, I mean, you know, you've got the original file, and that's the beauty of it, right? We keep the original file. We never delete the original file, because you know what? In 6 months, even like 2 weeks, you might look back and say, oh, I don't really like what I did. But you can't undo it because you've saved it and deleted the original file. So keep both. Original, you can even name it original, and then, you know, number 2. So, great work, everyone. I can't wait to see everybody's photos next week. Which brings me to this week's lesson. This week we are going to talk about negative space. Negative space is when there's nothing really in the photo but your subject. It's my favorite way to take photographs. I'm always moving to try to avoid clutter or anything that is competing for the focus and pulling away from my subject. It is such a favorite of a lot of photographers. It goes hand in hand with something else we'll learn later called rule of thirds. But for this week, we are going to focus solely on negative space. I got a little video I'm going to show you of me explaining negative space. So let's cut to it. Here we go. Welcome to week 2 of Photo Club. This week I've decided to film your lesson outside because it is exactly what we are talking about for this week's lesson. Negative space. Negative space is when you take a photo and there's nothing competing with the subject in the photo. So as you can see here, it's me in the field. Sure, you can see some trees in the background, or maybe you can see where the corn was planted, but really it's all about me as the subject and really nothing else. That's what we are going to dive into this week. So stay tuned and let's watch some great examples of negative space. So with that in mind, I've got some photos that I'm going to show you that really drive home this idea of negative space. So here we've got my kids, and I decided to get down and over them a little bit. So all you can see is the water and them. That's negative space. In your photographs, negative space gives all the power to the subject, and the viewer eye, it's drawn to the subject, and there's nothing else cluttering up the image. Like this photo here. It's all sky in the background and the cross is in the center. Going along with negative space, there's something called the rule of thirds. Now, the rule of thirds is the idea that there is a grid and it's kind of placed over your mind's eye, or actually your camera might have that option as well. We'll talk about that in a bit. It's a grid that is placed over a photo and the subject inside is hitting part of it in some part of this rule of thirds. Here's the idea. This is the grid. In your camera and your phone, it has this option. You can actually have this showing when you're looking at a subject through your viewfinder. This will be overlaid, so this is how you see it. Okay? With this grid, you move around your subject so it's placed in one of the sections, like this boy running through a field of negative space. It's a silhouette. We'll talk about that in another class. But here's the rule of thirds, and here is the negative space, and he is hitting along one part of the third. It's fractions here. A third of the photo. Here's another idea. It's my son. It's negative space, and he's hitting part of the third. Or my daughter, who is drawing chalk people out on the driveway, negative space, and she's been put right in the middle, or sorry, on one of the rule of third lines. Another one of the, I can't remember, what is this, the Dreamcatcher downtown. Instead of just having it centered, it's off to one side, hitting one of the thirds. And here's another one. Negative space, rule of thirds, center focus. So he's right in the middle. But look at how both sides look like they're mirrored to each other. Right? That's when a center focus really is the best way, right? The person's in the middle and both sides of the photo are identical. Another one. Rule of thirds here. He's off to the one side while the train is coming in. Another one of a building. Negative space, all of the sky. It was such a blue sky day. It was gorgeous. And this building just capturing part of it against the negative space and off to the side. Movies love using this. Movies and posters that they produce for the movies, they use it all the time. So cinematographers and professional photographers, this is such a main part. Shazam. That's exactly what's happening here. It's negative space. Sure, there's a little bit of an ad there for some bananas or something, but he's right up there on the rule of thirds, on the side, negative space. E.T. Look at where their fingers are touching. It's right spot on that rule of third spot. That wasn't done by accident. And as well as E.T., the name, the name of the movie, right in the middle, and then the bottom, Earth, right? One of our favorite movies here at our house is Rango, and this is a perfect example. They use this so much in the movie where the character is off to the side in one of the rule of thirds grid and negative space. And this is from Jurassic Park. Again, he's not centered focus. He's off to the side. So, just shows you that this is a rule that is used everywhere. Professionals love it. Negative space and the rule of thirds. That's what we are focusing on this week. So, how are we going to run out there and take photos? So, remember, negative space doesn't have to be in a field. It doesn't have to be with the sky. It doesn't have to be, on the horizon with nothing for miles. You remember the one photo of my daughter drawing with chalk on the driveway. All I did was I moved up a bit and moved my camera so I couldn't see the garage, which was right there. So she was sitting and we had everything around. Right? Perspective really will be part of every photo you take from now on, because you will constantly move yourself in the camera to get a better photo. It's never just, oh, I'm going to just stand here and take it. You can move. You have that ability to move to get a better photo. So this week, negative space and rule of thirds. So this week's assignment. This week you're going to go out and take some photos thinking of negative space and rule of thirds. Keeping people off to the sides with no backgrounds or very little. I want you to take a picture of a person. Now, I know I talked about not taking photos of younger people. Now, you can do something where you have just the back of them and take a picture of them from behind, like I had the picture of my son on the beach or my daughter drawing with the chalk on the driveway. So that's another way to take a portrait of somebody without really taking pictures of their faces. Even in a field, on the grass, against the wall, but be more creative than against the wall. I threw that out there, but I didn't mean it. Even a pet with negative space. Pet, grass. That's what I want. So it's kind of a portrait of others in your house using negative space and rule of thirds. I think you can do it. I think that you can find an assistant who secretly wants to be a model down deep inside, they think they've got it. Take that person, get their picture taken. If you cannot find a person, pets are fabulous. As long as they can sit still while you take the photo, I think you've got it made. So, I can't wait to see everybody's pictures. So until next week, keep shooting, take lots of photos, send me only one. Needs to be here Saturday before 4 p.m. so I can get all this ready for you. See you next week and have fun. Bye-bye.